Two more women accuse Neil deGrasse Tyson of sexual misconduct. Neil deGrasse Tyson is accused of sexual misconduct. Dr. Caitlin Ann Allers, an associate professor of physics and astronomy at Bucknell University, said that a groping incident happened in 2009 when Neil noticed her tattoo and grabbed her to look at it. Chia Ahmet said that Tyson raped her in his apartment when they were grad students together. The third woman, former assistant to Tyson, Ashley Watson, said she was forced to quit her job due to his inappropriate sexual advances. Neil deGrasse Tyson responded to the allegations with a lengthy post on Facebook. An investigation will be conducted.
Okay, this is very sad stuff. I know a lot of people are taking sides. I don't know how people get to take sides without actually being involved in the investigation and knowing the stories. I think whenever stories like this happen, people start taking sides, and then they accuse of the other side of either not being skeptical or not being supportive of the victims. I think people have a huge. There's two positions that you could have, that people think that these two positions contradict each other when they don't. Okay, and these two positions are: do not change your opinion of Neil deGrasse Tyson. Do not think that he, withhold judgment, and at the same time take these accusations seriously. Do not ignore the people that are making these accusations. Do not let people that are potential victims go unheard. Okay? These two positions are not mutually exclusive. You could have these two positions at the same time. I think people don't understand what withholding judgment is like. Withholding judgment is not making a claim, right? You do not have to think that these women are lying, or if what the hell these Facebook. Okay, you do not have to think these women are lying, and you don't have to think that they are telling the truth. You withhold judgment. I don't know how hard that is for people. It's. I think we have to make it, cool, make it popular to say I don't know, right? Saying I don't know is not an accusation of lying towards these victims, okay? And saying I don't know is also not an accusation of rape towards Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? It's hard for me to understand why this is so difficult, because some people that think they're being skeptical, they say like, oh, there is no evidence, I call bullshit. No, if there is no evidence, you don't call bullshit. If there is no evidence, you withhold judgment. Because if you call bullshit, now you're making a claim. If you call bullshit and you make a claim, where's your evidence for it being bullshit? You cannot say there's no evidence, therefore these women are lying. If there is no evidence, then you don't know. Maybe they're telling the truth, right? I call bullshit, there's no evidence, I call bullshit. What the hell? So calling bullshit requires evidence, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But and again, if you say like, oh, withhold judgment, so people on the other side, oh, okay, so you don't think people that you're not supporting the victims. Well, we don't know if they're victims, okay? But you have to taking it seriously and listening to people is as far as we can go. This is when you say we cannot say they're telling the truth. It is not the same as you making an accusation against the people that you're lying. So you cannot accuse a woman of lying until you have evidence. You cannot accuse the Neil deGrasse Tyson of rape until you have evidence. And there's a third group of people involved here. People that are actually going in and digging deeper and investigating. They get accused of witch hunt. They're not doing a witch hunt. They are the people that are doing the job that me and you don't have the resources or time to do. Okay? They are the people that are actually going in and investigating. People like, oh, leave Neil deGrasse Tyson alone. No! They are the people that are taking the potential victims seriously. Go and investigate. That's not a witch hunt. That's taking the potential victims seriously. Again, potential victims. Okay, and this is again is very difficult for somebody that is either a victim sometimes to hear, or somebody that has experienced being a victim and hasn't been taken seriously before, right? Because if you have been raped, or if you're a victim of sexual misconduct by somebody, and somebody says, well, we have to withhold judgment, you feel like, oh, these are the same people that didn't take me seriously, right? No, withholding judgment does not mean we're not going to take you seriously. In fact, a lot of these victims have been, the way they have been wronged is not that they were not believed. The way they have been wronged is that they weren't taken seriously, right? Take them seriously and investigate. Don't go as far as saying, okay, we have to believe all anybody that makes an accusation. No, the way you and if you're a victim, you know things that the rest of us don't. Okay, but you can't. Even though it's so emotionally difficult for somebody to accept this, that somebody is withholding judgment, you have to understand. Like if you know something that the rest of us haven't seen or know, they cannot expect people to be in the same position as you are with the amount of knowledge that you have. The expectations that you should have as a victim is for people not to ignore you. It's for people to actually investigate. It's for people to take your accusation seriously. You should not have of a nightmare you've been through. Your expectations shouldn't be for people to believe you automatically, no matter how outrageous the crime was. Anyways, do you want anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, we have to remember though, these are 4 different accounts. These are 4 different instances and we can't treat this as one big case or one big issue when this is 4 separate issues that happened at 4 separate times. So we have to address the evidence for each one individually, and not doing so is doing injustice to the individual women that were allegedly assaulted. But what I will say is that in some of the cases, for instance, with Ashley Watson, she was his assistant, and he invited her to his house for some wine, and she felt pressured because she was his, or he was her boss, and so they went and said that they opened up wine and that he took off his shirt and with just a tank top on, and took off his socks and shoes. And she said that it was just really weird, like the way that he was acting. And then it went on to other allegations. But even if the other allegations aren't true, I mean, there's a code of conduct and a code of ethics that you have to abide by, especially if you're somebody with as much influence as Neil deGrasse Tyson. And so first, I will say that even if nothing happened, just the fact that he invited her, him being a married man and her being a newly employed assistant, that really seems like a power move to me, and it seems really inappropriate. And that's just
okay.
I mean, it does to me.
You being a Puritan, I mean. If I'm married, does that mean that half the population of this planet now becomes like I have to be more careful because they're different gender? I don't know.
No.
I'm not. But the thing is that we don't know what happened. It could be as bad as. I mean, I don't know what happened. Okay, maybe you know more than I do, right? But it could be extremely bad. It could be very innocent. Okay.
Well, we also have to remember these are 4 separate women who do not know each other, who have not collaborated in any way, and these happened, years apart from each other.
Okay, so that makes it more likely. I don't know how the math on that works, right? I'm not saying it's Occam's razor is not evidence, right? It is Occam's razor though. So and again, I don't know what goes through people's. I don't want to make any claims, right? Because I want to respond to you, but if my response to you would require me making claims about these women that I don't know, right?
Right.
So I
Right.
rather not respond.
The
I'd rather not
the
come up with
the only thing that,
I'd rather not
I
come up
mean,
with hypothetical situations to
of
respond
course.
to you, because if these women actually have been wrong, it would be very it would be very unfair to them for me to come up with hypothetical situations where the story would be different, right? Like, I can't imagine how difficult it must be for actual victims to hear people come up with scenarios where it could have been something different, right? So
Right.
I'm not going to do that. I just want to say that it's the best position to have, without actual hard evidence, without not like playing the probability game, is to just be like, without evidence, without hard evidence, I don't know. And guess what? There are there are people that are responsible for figuring these things out, right? They are even so one level higher than me and you are journalists, and above them are the police and judges, right? And this is why you pay tax, right? It's their job. They have more experience to figure these things out, and maybe they
Right.
would
Well,
and maybe they would never
the
figure it out, which is sad if these people are victims. But the thing is that what they are in a much better position and with much more experience and knowledge and understanding to investigate these things. And I think
Sure.
just sitting back in our chair and thinking like, well, blah, blah, this could have happened. I don't. It's here's this is so easy. Look how this is how it's done. I don't know. See, that's so easy. I don't know. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Wait.
I mean,
people,
and
just
in
wait. Maybe wait. I mean, unless you're taking the responsibility to investigate. I'm not saying everybody should wait. Like, I know there's a whole bunch of people that makes it their job to go investigate. And again, they even if you are a skeptic, they are doing their. I mean, if somebody is spending time investigating this, thank you. Whatever the outcome is, we should thank them as well. But go on. Sorry.
Well, in a perfect world, you're right. In a perfect world, we would reserve judgment until somebody else has made a conclusion. But the fact of the matter is, each individual person has their own set standard of evidence, and when you meet that standard of evidence, and it's different. Everybody has their own cognitive biases. Everybody has their own way of thinking that prevents them from thinking completely rationally. Like, for instance, a lot less people are more apt to come out against Neil deGrasse Tyson than they were, say, if a preacher, had or a priest had done these sexual allegations. But the fact is that there is circumstantial evidence that these women's stories are true, or at least some of them. Like, for instance, the one Dr. Caitlin Allers. She was associate professor of physics and astronomy at Bucknell University, and Neil saw her tattoo of a solar planet on her back and grabbed her by the shoulder to look at it, and then traced it down, saying that he was trying to find Pluto. And he has actually admitted that yes, he saw her tattoo, he did grab her, he did touch her without consent. So I mean, even just that, and he said that he didn't remember looking for Pluto. But I mean, the fact of the matter is that we can't cut somebody a break, especially whenever they are at.
Okay,
but
a lot of people think when you say you don't know means you're cutting them a break. No, if you are saying this needs to be investigated, how are you cutting them a break? How is that cutting them a break?
Because of his own admission, he touched her without consent by her bare shoulders.
He said no. I read this. He didn't. I read his statement. That wasn't necessarily what he said. But can you read what he said exactly, word by word?
His statement regarding her. Yeah, sure. I'll pull it up. But I do know that he didn't.
What you're accusing him of is completely different from what he's actually being accused of right now here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is that at the very minimum, he was engaging in inappropriate behavior.
Yeah, and he should apologize for that. If that's, it could be very small mistake. It could be it could be as bad as rape. It could be as small as inappropriate behavior, and it could be anything in between. Okay.
That's true.
And you're not cutting some. If you're saying this needs to be investigated, that's not cutting them. It's like, by the way, when you mentioned priests, I just want to add something. I just want to mention to all the atheists out there that are fans of Neil and are saying we need to be skeptical. I hope you have the same level of skepticism when a priest is accused of child molestation. Let's try to be non-tribal here. If you demand evidence before you believe something, or before you reject something, again, evidence for believing and rejecting. Don't reject something because you have no evidence. No evidence means withhold judgment. No evidence does not mean reject. But if you're doing this for the people on our side, you have to have the same standard for other people as well. Don't assume that somebody is a Catholic priest, so accusations of child molestation, obviously it's true, he's a fucking priest. No, we withhold judgment until there is evidence. This is not a tribal thing. This is the same standard that we have to have for everybody. But go on, sorry.
He said that in his statement that it was. He said that he did not grope her or search up her dress, but it was simply a search under the covered part of her shoulder of the sleeveless dress.
Did he say without consent? Did he say without consent?
Yeah. He said that that anybody or many in his fan base can attest to the fact that he gets almost giddy if he notices that you're wearing cosmic bling clothing or jewelry or tattoos that portray the universe, either scientifically or artistically, and those are his own words. He said that he doesn't. He said he doesn't explicitly remember searching for Pluto, but he did say that is something that is surely something that he would have done in that situation.
But it doesn't say without consent, Jim. That's just your assumption. I'm not saying he didn't do it without consent, but there's nothing in there that he suggests that he did it without consent.
It doesn't say that he asked her or that she.
Yeah, but it doesn't say
permitted him.
Yeah, it doesn't say he asked her. It didn't say he didn't ask her. Okay.
But he didn't deny that allegation.
Yeah,
of doing it without consent. He didn't deny it.
He didn't confirm it. Again, I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong. I'm just saying we don't know. We don't know.
What about with Ashley Watson, where he said, "If I hug you, I might just want more," and this is his assistant, and he has actually admitted to saying that.
He said that that's his way of getting out of hugs.
Oh, come on. That sounds like a cop-out. I mean, because
that could sound like many things. It's not evidence. Whatever it sounds like to you, Jim, it's not evidence.
It doesn't sound suggestive at all, or like a sexual innuendo?
No. You say, hey, can I get a hug? And you're like, no, if you give me a hug, I might want more. That suggests to me like you're trying to get out of a hug. It might not be. It might be what you're saying. Again, I don't know.
Okay, that's fair enough.
So again, this might seem very insensitive to somebody that is actually a victim of rape. All right, if you are a victim and you hear people not agreeing, not believing you, I understand how difficult and how angry you might feel. But again, the crime against you as a victim is people not taking you seriously. That should be your standard. Your standard should be like, this is my accusation. Please investigate. Please don't ignore me. Please investigate. Your standard should not be, this is my accusation. Please believe me. Okay? And if, you know, and to be quite frank, a lot of actual victims have been ignored. Completely ignored, never investigated. Okay, so going from ignoring victims and potential victims to actually investigating and listening to people and taking them seriously, that's a huge progress. Don't mess this progress by asking for believing without investigation. This is huge progress for all these accusations not to go ignored. Okay,
sure. Sure, but that doesn't mean that we can't apply what we do know about it to
No,
our speculation, because
don't
it's human
speculate
nature.
these. Okay,
But it's human nature, Armin. I mean, in a perfect world, we wouldn't speculate, but it's human nature to have a cognitive bias and to
well, it's
speculate one way or another.
it's human nature to rape and kill and murder, but we can do better than our nature, right?
I feel like that is a much stronger impulse. The impulse to have
No,
an opinion about
rape and
something than
murder.
it is to
Okay,
rape or
so
murder. I feel like it's a lot easier for me to make up my mind without
no,
all of the evidence, or to have an opinion without all of the evidence, to have a bias one way or another, than it is for me to rape or murder. I feel like it's a
well,
lot easier for that.
yeah. So here, my other examples: pattern seeking is a human nature. It doesn't help us now in the modern world, right? Not being skepticism is not a big thing in human nature. Like skepticism is something we learn, right? Believing in things fast and letting go of our beliefs, on holding on to our beliefs is more in line with our nature than skepticism than skepticism is. But we can learn to do better than our nature, right?
I agree.
Right. So, speculating things, you can speculate, but don't claim it as something that could be true. I don't know. I just think, yeah. Okay.
In the
Especially especially when you could screw up people's lives, either the victims or the people that or the people that are being accused. If you can speculate about many things, but you need to be more careful with your speculations if people's lives are on the line.
Yeah.
Let me read the top comment. Jonathan is saying, "I'm 100% supportive of women who have actually been assaulted, but her photo looks a hell of a lot like my encounter with Dr. Tyson when he decided to check out my necklace and I wasn't assaulted." Okay, but again, Jonathan, I don't know if you're making a claim here or not. Doesn't sound like a claim, I guess. The thing is that the tattoo was on her body and your necklace is on top of your shirt. But this, yeah. Robin is saying he was looking for Pluto, not Uranus shell. Okay, that's
Uranus.
Yes, okay. Steve is saying, yeah, I expected those jokes. Steve is saying, so now he can be Supreme Court Justice or maybe President even. Jennifer is saying, so now flirting is sexual misconduct. No, Jennifer. See, again, people on both sides make these women are. Jennifer is saying these women are sick. Again, people, you guys are on both sides of this, are just believing in things. If you say these women are sick, flirting is sexual misconduct. You don't know if it was just flirting. It could have been actual sexual misconduct. You don't know. People on both sides, people that are just believing the woman or people that are just defending Neil deGrasse Tyson, your claims are based on nothing. You don't know. You're just taking sides without based on nothing. Okay, Steve is saying.
Well, I can tell you that what I base mine on is what's coming from both sides, where both sides overlap, where his admissions or her accusations overlap each other, and that's where I get my stance. Now, I'm not coming out saying that he is guilty of all four of these things, of everything that's being alleged. But I like I said, I will give my opinion about what we do know about what has been admitted by both of them, or alleged by both of them.
You know, being not these kind of accusations, but other types of accusation where I have been involved in seeing what goes on behind the scenes, and then people speculating outside, like looking at the people's tweets and knowing what actually happened without being able to say. I see how people just connect dots together that are not really there. You know what I mean? So that's when I see that, I become even more skeptical. And sometimes actually you see people that are even being like, you see something behind the scene and some people actually come up with the right conclusions and you're like, wow, how did they figure it out? But a lot of other people just connect things together. Like, it's just, when you don't know, you don't know. Anyway, Steve is saying, so basically no man may ever in any way interact with or have contact with a female with anything other than a handshake, keeping a minimum of 2 inches between them at all times, keeping an eye contact or looking at the ceiling, and then must okay, this is not written properly. Immediately to take 2 full steps back from said female, and may not speak to her again unless she speaks to him first. I'm glad I got the rules straight. Again, Steve, you don't know if this is being exaggerated. People think like, okay, these women are making a big deal out of nothing. You don't know that. It might have been really bad behavior, and then it might have
exactly, and that's a logical fallacy. We're not talking about somebody making eye contact or brushing against somebody. So that's a really poor
right.
comparison.
Yeah, I'm saying this might have been nothing at all, and it might have also been extremely bad behavior. We don't know. Again, I'm not seeing anybody. Why am I not seeing any of these comments being skeptical? And everybody's taking sides. Lainey is saying, lady has visible large solar system tattoo at an astronomy conference, gets pissy when other astronaut at party wants to look at it. Well, you can't touch people without their consent. Deep is saying, accusations are not evidence. Law says innocent until proven guilty. Okay, thank you. Yep. Thank you.
I agree.
Finally, somebody, we got somewhere. Okay, let's look at the Facebook, the YouTube live chat. Can you look at the YouTube live chat while I look at the Facebook live chat?
Sure, the YouTube live chat. Theo Mackey says, it's so easy. I don't know. My back broke. You lied to me. I don't know what that means. Okay. Jeremy Pace says, let's all agree he was looking for Pluto, LOL. Uday says, after reading his defense, I just can't help thinking that the #MeToo campaign can sometimes go completely overboard. I will agree with you in the sudden urge to jump on the he's guilty train. Let's see. Theo Mackey says, Armin, I'm with you. Jim just wants to make a judgment. I mean, we all want to make a judgment. It's our nature. But I will do my best to only make a judgment about what evidence I have. Jeremy Pace says, I don't know, dude. Pattern recognition in the modern world is still very useful. Yeah, exactly. Pattern recognition is human nature.
Pattern recognition is useful, but we suck at it. No, real pattern recognition would be good, but the problem with our brain is that we see pattern in places where there is no pattern.
But the problem is that we can't turn it off.
No, and that's why we have science, because it adjusts for that bias. But go
on. Renzo says, let's suppose he's guilty. Would that be a reason to declare him an evil person and ban him from public life? Or could we still appreciate his talents and accept his human flaws? Nobody's perfect after all.
Okay, well, if he's guilty of rape? Or what? No. If he's guilty of rape, we can assume that he's not a good person. Come on, like there is some.
Because the morality does not depend upon your
that's
talent.
That's not a flaw that you could be like, everybody. Some people lie, some people eat too much sugar, and some people rape. Because everybody has their flaw. No,
right. Like if somebody opens up a homeless shelter, they take in 100 homeless people and they cook 20 of them and feed them back to the other 80 homeless people. Is that a moral soup kitchen? Like, it's not, because the end doesn't justify the means.
Right.
In cases like this.
So yeah, there are some things that, anyways. By the way, Theo Mackey is shouting at you, Jim. When you said everybody wants to make a judgment, Theo Mackey is shouting, I do not want to make a judgment. We do not all want to make a judgment. So Theo Mackey is not making a judgment. He's withholding judgment. So that's a response to you.
Okay.
Okay, so by the way, dear Facebook people, I forgot to mention this to you. If you guys want me to read any comments, please make sure you tag Atheist Republic, because there's too many comments for me to check. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the chat. Nobody's perfect. No. Okay. So see, a woman to. Okay. So should we go, Jim? Jim? We are all ganging up on Jim today. Sorry. Are you okay?
No, I'm good. I'm good. You could bring it.
Atheist Republic's mission is to give atheists around the world a louder voice. In order for us to be able to continue the Atheist Republic, we need your help. If we reach 100 patrons, we'll finally be able to afford all our costs. Help us get there.